Our next fight, Abel Ramos and Luke Santamaria. Ramos has had a consistent diet of world-class opposition. Maurice Hooker, Regis Prograis, Ivan Baranchuk, Jamal James. I'm not done. Yordenis Ugas and Omar Figueroa. And he knocked out Omar Figueroa. He'll take on Luke Santamaria, who is only 24 years old, and he's got some good wins on his resume already. Back here at the Mandalay Bay Michelob Ultra Arena. Tail of the tape is brought to you by Credible.com. And again, Ramos has fought some of the better fighters in the world. He's won, he's lost, he's gotten a draw as well. He's 30 years old. Santamaria, the younger man, only 24. Close to about the same height, same reach. Santamaria, by the way, has some good names on the resume. I mentioned Devin Alexander, Michael Fox. Big step up here, though. Ramos coming off that KO win over Figueroa. Let's go back to Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Michelob Ultra Arena here at the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino, Premier Boxing Champions presents the Fox Sports PBC featured bout, brought to you by Geico. Whether you rent or own, Geico makes it easy to bundle home and car insurance. Go to geico.com today. This bout is sanctioned by the WBC, the president, Mauricio Suleiman, judges scoring from ringside, Lisa Jumpa, Patricia Morse-Jarman, and Dave Moretti. All right, fans, here we go with a 10-round WBC welterweight world title eliminator. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, live from the Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas, it's time for the Fox Sports PBC main event of the evening. Introducing to you first on my right, fighting out of the red corner, wearing red trunks with orange trim. He's fighting out of Garden Grove, California, by way of East Los Angeles. He weighed in at 145 1/2 pounds with a record of 12 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw. He has 7 wins coming by way of knockout. Introducing Luke Santamaria. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing royal blue trunks with gold and white trim. He hails from Casa Grande, Arizona. He weighed in the same as his opponent, 145 1/2 pounds. His record, 27 wins, 4 losses and 2 draws, with 21 big wins coming by way of knockout. Please welcome the hard-hitting Abelito Ramos. And a referee in charge now to give instructions, Celestino Ruiz.
Okay, guys, you're good here. You're good here. Your belt lines are good. I gave you guys your instruction. Give me a clean, fair fight, start to finish. Good luck and protect yourself at all time.
This should be a good scrap. Abel Ramos, Luke Santamaria. By the way, we checked in on Keith Thurman back at his hotel room in the main event. There's Mario Barrios, and I'm told he's watching The Water Boy. Adam Sandler, come on. Joe, come on, I know that's Adam Sandler, but shouldn't he be watching the undercard? Shouldn't he be watching us?
It's a sports movie, so
True.
What the heck,
Yep.
you know?
Inspirational.
And you know my son works for Adam.
It's the best.
Right? And my son's the best.
Let me tell you, you know what I would
Adam
be
is
watching?
the greatest. I love him.
Yeah.
You know what I would be watching?
What?
Bruce Lee.
Right. All right.
All right.
So you can be like water.
Yes.
There, yes. All right, Abel Ramos, Luke Santamaria underway here, scheduled for 10. Coming off an outstanding fight with Ryan Carl Omar Juarez in a split decision. And these two have been in very close competitive fights as well. I mentioned Ramos and his competition. By the way, he has a draw against Maurice Hooker. He lost a close majority decision to Jamal James. But I think Joey's kind of turned the corner. That close loss to Yordenis Ugas, I thought he was outclassed. He didn't deserve a split decision loss. But then the knockout win over Omar Figueroa, he's now gone up maybe 2 notches from being this, kind of rugged guy who fights the best and loses.
Yeah, there's a lot of back and forth in this game. And, Abel Ramos has really shined in a lot of cases.
Oh!
That was a great
big hook, he's hurt. Santamaria's really wobbled. Right hand lands as well. Can Ramos get him out of here in 1?
Well, that's the thing about Ramos. He's got 21 knockouts in 27 wins, so he can hurt you.
This would be quite a statement. Again, a knockout over Omar Figueroa, and then a quick win over Santamaria, who has just awesome good wins. Just beat Devin Alexander, former world champion.
Yeah, Santamaria, he's pretty tricky. You know, one second he's boxing orthodox, and the next second he's boxing southpaw.
But here's what Ramos is doing, what she didn't do against Ugas, and that's really put on pressure. He laid back so much in that fight, and he knows he made a mistake there, and I don't think he's going to ever let that happen again. So he came out really both barrels blasting against Luke Santamaria.
Wow, that is something, some opening from Ramos. Again, he's only 30 years old, so he's already in that kind of veteran status. He's fought so many good fighters. But he is a guy with an outstanding work rate, a great motor, as we say. He uses every minute of every round. Hard body shot there by Ramos. And he really rocked Santamaria. I didn't think he hit him that hard. I guess he clipped him, Lennox, because the way Santamaria reacted, clipped on the side of the head.
You know what I always say? It's that wake-up punch. When you first go out there in the first round, you gotta be awake, or else you're gonna get a punch that's gonna wake you up.
He was almost put to sleep.
Well, you know, I've been told this before by many, many old trainers and fighters. Element of surprise in that first round. If you can get away with it, try to pull it off, and that's exactly what Ramos did.
Santamaria fighting back hard now, and he just jumps back to orthodox after a chance at southpaw. So the punches landed pretty close now. But Santamaria again hurt, wobbled earlier in this round. Abel Ramos is trained by his brother Jesus. Jesus' son, Abel's nephew, is fighting later tonight against Vladimir Hernandez. He's the 20-year-old prospect. But Uncle Abel is making a name for himself. Round one, big one there for Abel Ramos. Tonight's Corner Cam is sponsored by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. And we go to the corner with Abel and his brother Jesus.
Okay, keep being aggressive. Don't worry about it. Everything is good. And keep working the jab. Keep working the jab. And come to inside and keep working the body. And keep moving. And keep working downstairs. That'll set up the blow.
Let's go back to round one, and Abel Ramos able to wobble Santamaria early on. There's the hook. Wow.
Yeah, well, you know, Santamaria had his hands, you know, far away from his face at that point, and Ramos just made a nice right hand right there. He made a little feint downstairs, and then dropped that left hook right over the right hand. See, Luke Santamaria went for that feint and dropped his hand.
And Joe, that was a tempo punch right there. You know, tempo punches do that to you.
Yeah, they what?
Disturb the equilibrium.
Yeah, mess up your equilibrium.
And here in round number two now, Santamaria seems to have been able to clear his head, straighten himself out. He's got that jaw down low, doesn't he? Head down, eyes up. Hard right hand blocked by Santamaria.
Exactly right, Brian. When you're putting that pressure on, you can't poke that chin up. And you said it right. Head down, eyes up.
And yeah, because the head is the hardest bone in your body, so you're rather your opponent to hit that than your chin.
I'm told Mario Barrios has turned the channel, and he's watching the fight now. Unless he's talking to Adam Sandler, which could be. Mario Barrios later on in the main event against Keith Thurman on our pay-per-view card. A lot of good fights. By the way, Jesus Ramos is going to be fighting Vladimir Hernandez. It's going to be tremendous. There's Keith Thurman. A look at his hotel. That's his daughter there down below. Yeah. A different man. Comes back, now married, now a father. 33 years old, but looking to reclaim what was his. The welterweight division has moved on without him, but that is a former proud champion. And tonight, the second act of Keith Thurman taking on Mario Barrios. Back here, round number two, halfway through. And a nice scrap so far. We expected it to be with Lucas Santamaria. On the right-hand, lower right-hand part of the screen, you can see the QR code that you can scan to buy the pay-per-view. Just put the phone right up there.
Yeah, and in the meantime, Santamaria landed a couple nice body shots in his own corner there, and it looks like he's gathered himself again, and he's got his wits about him, and he's moving. He does what he normally does. That was a nice little counter punch left hook by Santamaria there, but he uses his legs a lot. He's a tricky guy. He's evasive. He goes right-handed, left-handed, and you know he tries to confuse you. And with the exception of getting caught with those 2 big shots in the first round, he's doing what he normally does.
Joe, I always say he doesn't make it easy for you to catch him, so he's always going left and right. And just when you think you have him cornered, he's moving the other way. And then when you think you have him cornered again, he's hitting you. So he's quite a tricky person. You got to figure him out. But Ramos is a person that figures people out quickly, and this is what he does in most of his fights.
I tell you what, I like his body language a lot. The whole fighting aura of Abel Ramos right now. Just the way he's stalking. And no, you're right. Santamaria is always like clever as a fighter. But this is a new Abel Ramos, I think, Joe.
You know, when I seen him in weigh-ins, I said, hey, look at his body, man. He must be working hard.
He's a different guy.
Yeah, he definitely is a different guy.
That's round number 2 here in Vegas. There's Abel Ramos getting ready for round 3. Ramos was to fight Josecito Lopez on this night. Lopez was injured and bowed out. Lopez has a very different style, Lennox, from Luke Santamaria. So now he's fighting someone clever. Josecito Lopez is tough as nails, but he's not in there to be clever. So this is a big change in style.
Yeah, and it's always hard fighting the guy at the last hour of a fight, and he's got a different style. Now you have to show how great you are and be able to adjust and deal with the new guy, which is Santamaria.
Santamaria, a guy who gets through a ton of feints, showed great footwork and angles against Devin Alexander. Now I know Devin Alexander isn't what he used to be. He was once one of the top pound-for-pound fighters in the world. He's 34 years old, but he was sharp, Joe, and in shape that night. So Santamaria, I thought, showed a lot to beat Alexander.
Look, Luke Santamaria spent plenty of time out at my gym sparring with my welterweight, Sergey Lipinets, former world champion. And he'll give you fits in the gym, okay? Just like he will in a fight. So he's just starting to get going here. You know, Ramos had a really good first round. And then, you know, it settled down in the second. Here we are, you know, in the 3rd round, and Santamaria has got to start landing something of importance, which he hasn't really done yet.
I tell you, Ramos, though, is throwing good combinations, sharp shots. He is constantly stalking, and Lennox getting his feet in position.
Yeah, Ramos needs to go back to the body. He's really aiming for the head right now, all head shots. But he should listen to his corner, and they said to go to the body, but he needs to go to the body a lot more.
That was a nice jab by Santamaria to drive Ramos back, at least momentarily. Ramos back to work, eats another jab on the way in. Santamaria actually outlanding Ramos through a good part of this round. Even though it seems, Joe, right, that Abel is the boss.
Yeah.
Seems like he's in charge, but he's getting caught here and there.
Yeah, he is. But that's what Santamaria does. He'll pepper you and pester you, and you know, he's very improvisational in the ring. You know, so you never know where he's coming from. Where, you know, Ramos has got to really settle in and keep the pressure on, getting close. And his brother said it best, or his uncle, get to the body. He's got to get to the body, slow those legs down.
That's his brother.
Jesus'
uncle. Jesus, by the way, Jesus Ramos, Vladimir Hernandez, I think it's going to be the fight of the night. That's going to be fascinating.
Let me tell you something. Vladimir Hernandez, from the first time we saw him against Angulo, has really gotten into shape, looked good in his last fight, and he looks really good for this fight.
He's a very difficult opponent.
Yeah.
He starts to mix it up here. Good combination. That by Abel. Abel backing him into the ring. Santamaria trying to get out of danger.
The mouthpiece came right out of Santamaria's mouth and is sitting right here. I could pick it up if I wanted to, but I'm not going to.
Trying to escape. Good combination by Ramos. Caught him with the right hand. Trying to finish him again. Another shot. Final seconds, and that's it. Wow. I'm gonna have to come over here and get that mouthpiece. Yeah, you don't pick it up. Don't touch that, Joe.
No, I'm not.
They'll get it.
It's not like I don't touch him every day.
That's true. Not that one. Drops in. Floyd Mayweather will have a car in NASCAR soon, I'm told.
Really?
Yeah, we're going to look for that car a little later on. Here, we've got Abel Ramos and Luke Santamaria. By the way, the Floyd Mayweather Money Team Racing will debut at the Daytona 500. I'll show you that in a second. Here, round number 4, Abel Ramos Luke Santamaria. There's the car. It's a nice looking car. Wow. The money team right near the 50 there. As Gralla will
50
drive for Floyd. Floyd's not driving, by the way.
Gas is going to cost him a ton.
Oh, you pumped your own gas lately. All right. I get here. Hard-hitting action. Abel Ramos drives Luke Santamaria back again, and he had him badly hurt there in round 3.
Yeah, and see, Ramos is, you know, he's backing up here, but it won't be for long. He's been keeping the pressure on all night. And, you know, he's got to get close to Santamaria and slow him down and then land the big shots. But I still say go to that body quickly.
Well, Santamaria's defense has been great throughout this whole round right now. I like how he keeps that right hand up and he's not getting hit with the left hook.
And landed a nice right hand just now.
He's firing back hard again. Ramos is stalking throughout. Comes back, that hook to the head from Ramos. Tries with the uppercut. The punches are sharp and crisp from Abel Ramos tonight.
Yeah, you can see that he's got power behind those punches.
Jumping in with the hook, partially blocked by Santamaria. He ate that body shot. Ramos able to land. I tell you, Ramos is just getting stronger and stronger. You can tell how dedicated he is. He says he loves being on the same card with his nephew Jesus. They all train at the same time, peak at the same time. They take it very seriously, and Abel is, you know, going from a guy who was brought in as the opponent to someone who could get back toward the main event.
Well, yeah, look, I mean, this fight is for the #1 spot, basically. It's the title eliminator. So whoever wins this goes on to a title shot. And Ramos would, he's been there before. He wants to get there again, I'm sure.
And, you know, his loss to Yordenis Ugas, again, you know, Ugas just outclassed him, I thought, but it was a split decision loss. But that looks even better now with Ugas beating Pacquiao. Ugas looked terrific.
Yeah.
Kind of just, you know, underlining what we already thought, but it really shows you that Ramos, to be able to mix it up with Ugas, shows the class. Punches landed dead even here, but Ramos has had Santamaria hurt reasonably badly twice.
And Ramos is using smart pressure against Santamaria. He's not really leaving himself open.
Right.
He's not crowding himself or smothering himself. He's giving himself punching room.
And he's seen mostly everything that's coming off of from Santamaria, you know, so he's sizing him up as he's getting him closer and closer.
Another hook lands for Abel Ramos. Digs in a right hand at the end here of this round. Here's that big shot in the previous round. Abel Ramos with an uppercut and a hook combination. Right hand, out goes the mouthpiece. Remember in the 3D movies, Joe, back in the 70s?
Yeah, right.
Look out, here it comes.
Right. You will sign.
Hey, you still have a chance to win $1,000 playing Fox Bet Super 6. Just scan the QR code now and enter your picks for tonight's fights, and you can win big. Download the Fox Bet Super 6 app and play for free. Because it was Jaws in 3D, and then there'd always be a scene where they're playing pool. And, oh, look out, here comes the cue. Whoa!
Or John Candy in Second City TV. You will sign the bill.
Round 5 here, good fight. Abel Ramos, Lucas Santamaria, and Abel Ramos again, just showing his form, showing his class. And let's get an idea of how we have this scored so far. Another right hand by Ramos, and go to Larry Hazard. Larry, how do you have it?
Brian, I got Ramos ahead 39-37. You know, styles make fights, guys. And what we got here is a brawler against a boxer, and I think that the brawler has a little slight edge right now. Ramos is a little stronger, but I think that Santamaria, if he starts punching more from the angles, he might be able to close this gap a little more.
All right, Larry, thank you again. Larry Hazard giving Luke Santamaria 1 round. Total punches connected. You can see the lower left part of your screen, 56-54. So razor close, but the harder shots are coming from Ramos.
Yeah, and Ramos is applying the pressure, so that, you know, that adds to him winning the rounds, because the judges can see that he's applying the pressure, forcing the issue, forcing the Santamaria to throw some punches, and you know, getting through with some great shots.
Again, Santamaria has beaten Michael Fox and Devin Alexander. These are 2 quality wins.
Absolutely. And I think Professor Hazard said it brilliantly, because Santamaria does have to start punching more and matching the output that Ramos is putting on the table there. So, and he's starting to do that this round. He's landed several punches. I think he's got to use the angles, like Larry said, and you know, maybe get back in this fight. But I think right now Ramos is ahead.
Ramos is, as Larry pointed out, he's a stronger fighter. His punches, his combinations are sharper. Nicely done by Santamaria, fighting out of the corner. Look at this. Just as I say that, Santamaria unloads a little barrage. 5-6 punch combination. That's not easy. Some fire from Luke Santamaria. And blocks the hook as well.
Yeah, he's been keeping that right hand up really nice when he's separated from Ramos, and he better, because that's a very strong punch from Ramos, that left hook.
Look at that. That jab is beautiful. The hook is sharp and short. Just nice, crisp, short punches from Abel Ramos.
Well, power runs in the Ramos family, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Doubling up on the jab as Ramos. Santamaria comes back with his own combination. Santamaria has had his moments in this fight, and most of them in this round.
And you see, those are fast combinations. A double hook, right hand, and then he switches to southpaw. He makes it difficult on you. He's starting to get his rhythm right now, Santamaria, and that's exactly what I'm sure the corner's been expecting from him and loves to see.
It's good action here in round 5, halfway through. Close to it as Luke Santamaria, again, kind of like Ryan Carl in the previous fight, had every reason just to go away quiet. He has opted not to. Abel Ramos right there. He's been the boss so far against Lucas Santamaria, but Santamaria with a very good previous round. There's Keith Thurman. Main event later, still has a little time to play with his baby daughter. And then on the move, we followed him. See the left hand, he's in the sports book. Lennox, can you do that?
I've never bet on myself.
Well, you always bet on yourself, but you never bet on yourself. By the way, you're allowed, I'm told, to bet on yourself to win.
Of course, in boxing, yeah.
Betting on yourself to lose would be bad form.
I don't think.
In a lot of ways, anyway.
I don't think your manager, trainer, or anybody else is right.
I know if you're, Joe, if one of your fighters is going to the sports ring, he's like, let me go with you, make sure everything's all right. Right.
I've never had any fighter go and bet on themselves, to tell you the truth.
Hard-hitting action here, round number 6.
Yes.
Santamaria has battled back into this fight.
And he's battled out of the corner. I mean, right here was some good work by Santamaria.
And you can just tell the fighting spirit of Abel Ramos and the conditioning that he's in. Punches are so good, combinations here, but Santamaria is showing his mettle as well.
And you know the funny thing about Santamaria, he feels so comfortable in the corner. You know, he gets
Fights better there. Yeah.
And he fights his way out of the corner.
Yeah, no, he's got great radar for stuff like that. Even though he got you know, cracked in the first round, but he's got great radar on the ropes.
Keith Thurman there on the left, main event a little later on. Maybe he's just checking how the odds have swung. I believe he's the favorite in this fight.
Good right hand by Ramos there.
He's a pretty big favorite early on. He's got his bodyguards with him. Lennox, did you travel with bodyguards? I don't remember. Did you? I remember you just walking around.
Just a couple.
You were your own bodyguard.
Yeah. Yes.
Nice hook by Santamaria. They're here at Mandalay Bay. Lennox, you had the separate set of elevators here, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
You didn't go the regular elevators like us.
No, I came the back way.
Joe, you know what I'm saying?
They make me take the stairwell.
It's been, yeah, you get a little workout in. Mr. Goosen, welcome back.
Well, I do that when I go down the stairs. I get my workout. Never up.
Santamaria back in the corner, trying to fire his way out. Lennox Lewis just pointed out he does better when he's trapped in that corner.
Yeah, he's like a cat. You know, there's nowhere to go, so I gotta fight.
Right.
And he does a good job of it.
See, when you got a guy like Santamaria that's got great head movement, and you know he's sliding along the ropes, you have to go to the body. That's one way to keep him, you know, inside your guard.
He's landed power shots, Santamaria, Joe. Look at this, another hook lands. Uppercut as well. Look, Abel is doing that all through the fight, but Santamaria was able just to land as well. Nice crisp jab on eats a hook from Santamaria. Combination from Luke Santamaria. Excellent action here in round 6. Got a real fight.
Boy, very talented.
Julian Williams, and we'll open up with Luis Neri and Carlos Castro. 4 fights on the Fox pay-per-view tonight. Here we've got a very good fight. Abel Ramos getting the better of it early. Lucas Santamaria coming on hard in the last few rounds. Yeah. By the way, round 6 was the first round that Santamaria out-threw against Ramos.
Yeah, it looked like Ramos was going to, run the table early on in this fight, and Santamaria, being the competitor he is starting to turn this towards his favor a little bit. He's starting to land more, He's starting to feel more confident, and you know, Ramos is landing less and less of the power shots.
Now, as we're giving Santamaria credit, remember, Ramos continues to land, so I wonder, we go to Larry Hazard. Larry, how are you making sense of this?
Well, looks like all of us went to the same school of boxing. I got him even now, guys.
Wow.
I got him even.
Yeah.
Listen, I gave Santamaria the last 3 rounds. I see shades of Wilfredo Benitez when this guy gets back. He's very comfortable in the corner, fighting off the ropes, and he's scoring. So I got the fight even, 57-57.
Interesting. Larry, thank you.
Who said you can't win a fight going backwards?
I don't know who said that. It's said. I don't know who said that.
But usually
yeah.
you can't win a fight going backwards, but he's doing a good job winning this. I mean, keeping this fight close going backwards.
In Santamaria's corner is Heidi Androl. Heidi, what do you have?
Thank you very much, Brian. Well, I was speaking to Javier Capetillo, his trainer, and he told me, you know, they are not going to give this to you. You have to go out there right now and take it. He said exactly what Larry Hazard was calling for, the angles. He said in terms of overhand jab, and really wants him to keep using that jab and switching stances, because when he goes lefty, he throws Abel off.
Heidi, thank you. Again, it's just a fascinating fight in that, look, Santamaria was hurt. I mean, you call it buzzed or hurt twice in this fight, fairly badly. And yet Abel Ramos, as good as he's looked, has not been able to do more damage to Santamaria. And this is what we did in the previous fight, where we started to wonder, hey, is the guy that is losing, did he take 1 round? That was Ryan Carl. Yeah, he did. Did he take the next round? Maybe he did. And it turns out it was a 1-point fight split decision. It turned out to be true. We try to let you know the story of what the judging could be. We don't know what the judges are scoring, but we can try to give you an idea.
Anytime Santamaria goes southpaw, Ramos automatically throws that left hook trying to catch him.
Final 30 seconds, round 7. Ramos in the blue trunks, good body shot there. Santamaria in the red.
Yeah, I think this is a case where Santamaria really needed to figure out Ramos more than the other way around. And I think he's done it. And he's making a good accounting for himself. And he's really awkward and hard to deal with.
Yeah, we have a very close fight here. And an outstanding fight in our main event on FS1. You know, make of you will of the punch stats, the CompuBox punch stats that they collect. As you see, Keith Thurman is now leaving the sports book. Just wanted to clear his head, I guess, go for a little walk or something. Anyway, but in that previous round, Luke Santamaria outlanded Abel Ramos 13-7. Which is interesting, given that Abel Ramos has been consistently winning that battle. He's outlanded him overall 104-92, but Santamaria, here's punches landed by round, and you see Ramos close in round 1, but he heard Santamaria. All Santamaria in round 2, and then it's kind of a sweep for Ramos, slightly. 13-12 is nothing, right? But 22-9, that kind of tells you a little something.
And Santamaria landed 2 good shots when we were going over those numbers. Against Ramos, 2 right hands. So he's starting to get a little bit more accurate and finding the spot on Ramos, and his corner's got to be really happy about it. And the last thing I'll say about it is Santamaria is really putting those earmuffs on when he gets near Ramos, because he does not want to get clipped with something stupid.
That hands up, yeah, right, jaw down, dropping that chin down to his chest. I'll also say, in the previous fight I mentioned that, look, Omar Juarez was landing the harder shots on Ryan Carl. But in scoring, you just need to touch the other fighter, and it could sway things. But when you have a 22-9 outlanded, or even a 13-7, it does kind of tell you how the round will likely be scored. Likely, not always, but if you can outscore against your opponent like 22-9, you're winning that round.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's the way it should go. You're right.
Unless the other fighter's rocked, obviously. Look, it's professional fighting, it's not amateurs. Well, we know that, but just trying to give you an idea of what CompuBox has, and Luke Santamaria battling his way back into this fight.
Yeah, I like what Luke Santamaria is doing. He's basically, you know, got his hands up. He's waiting for that perfect opportunity, and then when he can throw it, he's throwing the jab, he's coming out with a jab, and then coming out with a combination. Good job.
And you wonder what they're saying for Abel Ramos' corner. Let's get to Jordan Plant. Jordan, what are they saying?
Yeah, Brian, I was just over there, and his trainer, Jesus Ramos Sr., said he needs to cut the ring off. He's just following Santamaria around. He'd like him to take it back a little bit and have some strong counter punches to get this in the back of the swing for him.
There's Jesus Sr. right there. Jordan, thank you very much. Because they had to think early on, guys, like, our guy looks great. Santamaria, we got him back on his heels. We're knocking him around, and now they got a real fight.
Santamaria's got a real rhythm going right now, let me tell you. And he's really doing what we've seen him do before. It took him a while to get going, but man, he's firing on all cylinders right now. His legs are moving good, his head's moving good, his hands are being quick, accurate. I like what I see in there from him. And I'm sure his corner does too.
Final seconds, round number 8, 2 more to go, and Luke Santamaria has gotten back into this fight. There's Luke Santamaria. He's only 24 years old. He beat Michael Fox in August of 2020, and then Devin Alexander in August of last year. Early on, it looked like he was going to get outworked and outclassed by Abel Ramos, but he has battled his way back into this fight. The punch stats, it was even in that last round, but Joe Goosen pointing out that Santamaria just had a nice rhythm going, up on his feet, calmer, more confident, snapping out his punches.
Well, we're 9-10. We got the last 2 rounds here, and I'll tell you, I think the fight is drawn close on the scorecards, and I'm sure Ramos has gotten the word from the corner, win these next 2 rounds.
On the line, yeah.
And by the way, just to point out, Celestino Ruiz, the referee, have you noticed him at all tonight?
That's a good point. No, he stayed out of it.
Exactly.
Like a good offensive lineman. Good exchange there in Santamaria with a beautiful combination. Finished it up with a hook. You're right, Joe. Ruiz is just dancing on the outside. Very well done.
He's great. I like a referee like that. They're there when you need them.
Right. Well, these two are such pros, Joe. They're not dirty. They're not fouling. They're not clinching. They're boxing. They're throwing their hands.
That's right.
Santamaria is really rallying when he's coming off of the ropes. He's throwing some great combinations, and it's not like he's stopping at 2 punches. He's like throwing 4, 5, 6 punches.
That's right. You see how he bends his waist forward, backwards. He's up, he's down. He's really awkward. He's very matrixy in his movement. So, you know, he's like that, you know. He's like that in sparring. He's like that in his fights. That's why he's so difficult. Plus, he's accurate, and he's fairly quick-handed, too.
You know, we're just warming up here in Las Vegas. We got 4 fights to come in the pay-per-view. I'm exhausted, Lennox.
Yeah,
this is grueling, these fights.
Who's against the ropes now?
Look at that. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Abel is down. It's like the whole fight he's been stalking, and now he's being moved back. Not easy to do that either. Abel doesn't like to move backwards. Little starch has come out on Abel Ramos. Santamaria now drives forward.
And Ramos was the big favorite coming into this fight. You know, he was favored very heavily. The fight was favored to go over 8.5, which it has done. But right now, you know, the underdog is pulling very close, if not bringing this thing to a very tight scoring mode right now.
And let me tell you, Abel Ramos' face is getting red, so definitely he's taking a whole bunch of shots, but this fight is close quarters right now.
Santamaria had to rally to beat Devin Alexander, too. He won on the last 5 rounds on 2 of the 3 cards to beat Alexander. That was a close fight. And here he got hurt early from Ramos, but now the equation has changed. He's the one moving forward and driving Ramos back. Final 15 seconds, round 9.
As good and solid as Ramos is, this Santamaria is a real difficult puzzle to figure out.
Ramos tries to rally now. Wants to have the fight in the phone booth. That would benefit him. Nice jab there by Santamaria, and he steps away. Very clever fighter, and he's back in it, and maybe he's ahead. Go back through this fight, and early on it was all Abel Ramos. That hook in the first round staggered Santamaria, and I wondered if we were going to be done in 1.
Yep, it almost looked like that. You know, he had a great round, and that's when that mouthpiece came out, Lennox, and almost landed in your top pocket here. But, you know, those moments have been few and far between in the second half of the fight for Ramos. That all took place in the first half, and this is where Santamaria just started, you know, doing his thing, which, you know, we knew he was capable of. We've seen it before. He's very awkward, very difficult to deal with because he's all over the map. You know, nothing is really a pattern. There's no pattern to it.
He's, well, you know, he's smart. I keep saying clever, but there's a ring IQ at work there.
Oh,
and he knows how to
absolutely.
fight, knows how to box. Lennox, you were the first to see this too. He is driving Ramos back, and all night it was Ramos moving forward. I mean, willing his man back and doing it with combinations. Final round, round number 10, and we believe it hangs in the balance.
Here we are, 10th round already. It's gone by quickly, hasn't it?
Yeah. They're going to go for it this round. Both guys think they're winning the fight.
Santamaria comes out firing, landing a combination immediately.
If I'm in either corner right now, I'm thinking I need this last round. Sorry.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
Do it.
Larry Hazard had it even a few rounds back. It's got to be pretty close now as well. Santamaria has gotten just better in this fight. And now the punch stats are very close. You can see in the left screen, 162 to 154 in the lower part of the left.
You see Ramos' right eye swollen now. You know, he's taking some punishments from the left hands of Santamaria. It's, both guys have been dishing out punishment. They've been taking it well, but they're both pros and they're both solid fighters right now. This last round is going to decide it all, I think.
That's surprising. Abel Ramos throwing 118 punches in that last round. That's a career high. I mentioned he's got an excellent motor that he uses every minute of every round until the very end, including a fight where he was losing against Brian Perella, and he won with a last-second KO, literally last second.
Yeah.
2:59, he got a stoppage win.
Yeah.
So this man, he won't stop either. Santamaria wailing punches. It's really not desperation, it's desire.
And in that fight with that last second win by Ramos, it wasn't in that fight. He was being dominated.
It was a very different fight, you're right. Ramos looks much better now, and yet Santamaria is able to come back in this fight.
A good thing what Santamaria does, when he's throwing his combinations, he's coming forward. So even if Ramos is off balance, he's going to be going back to the ropes.
Boy, Santamaria landed a couple nice left to right uppercuts. And look, he'll leave that arm out there, pepper you a little bit, then come back with a hook. It's very difficult to deal with.
Hard right hand by Ramos. That was able to land.
When Santamaria is coming forward, Ramos has to take a couple steps backwards and move left or right, and then throw some combinations.
That last hook landed from Ramos, but there are punches landed from Santamaria as well. I don't want to point out just the last punch that landed. There's a lot of leather being thrown. Punches connected in this round. It's 10-8 in favor of Ramos. As of right now, that's dated information already.
Right.
Final 35 seconds.
Yeah, great jab by Santamaria because Ramos really wants to get to him right now.
He wanted to get to him, but that jab was in his way.
Yep, exactly.
This is just an evenly matched fight, start to finish. Ramos looked like the guy who was on the move, looked better than ever in a lot of ways. Joe, you're right. Looked very vastly different from the guy we saw fight Brian Perella, and yet Santamaria showing no fluke, beating Fox, beating Devin Alexander. Final seconds. Santamaria moving forward still. He wants it.
That's a good look for the judges to be coming forward, throwing the last few punches.
And yet Ramos landed with a combination and landed that hook on the way in.
That's the
Great fight.
That's the way this fight went. Great job.
It'll go to the judges, and look, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't think we know. We'll find out very soon. And we just saw another very good fight. Abel Ramos, I thought, looked terrific, at least early on. Lucas Santamaria buzzed, hurt, but came back. Larry Hazard, by the way, on official score, had it 96-94 in favor of Santamaria. Now, we don't know how it's going to be scored, but that gives you an indication of how it will go, as Santamaria, on the last minute, like taking this fight when Josecito Lopez bowed out, he jumps in, taking on a surging Abel Ramos, coming off a win over Omar Figueroa, and he gives it all after getting hurt early on in this fight. It'll be a very interesting decision. Let's go to the ring, and Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 10 rounds of action, we have a unanimous decision. Here are the score totals. Judges at ringside, Dave Moretti and Patricia Morse-Jarman, both scored about 96-94. Judge at ringside, Lisa Jampa, sees it 98-92. All three in favor of the winner, Luke Santamaria.
Well, Abel Ramos is stunned, and I know how he must feel, given that he was pretty sharp, but Santamaria did a lot of good work in those late rounds.
I'm not sure about that 98-92. The other two scores, like I said, it was a round one way or the other, you know. But again, Professor Larry Hazard was right again.
I think Larry had it
called
perfectly, yeah. As we say, the members of the Santamaria family. He won all 5 on one of the cards. That must have been the 98-92. 4 of the last 5 on the last 2 cards, and that's what it's about, Lennox. You hand in the totals at the end. That's how you score it.
Yeah, that's why it's very important to be smart when you're boxing a fight. You got to know the rounds and know the rounds that you're winning and that you need to win.
Yeah. And I'll say
Santamaria really came back good. He wasn't getting hit, and he was boxing off the ropes and forcing Ramos back to the middle of the ring.
And we saw where Ryan Carl was hurt early, came back, almost won the fight. Santamaria hurt early, did come back and win the fight. Let's go to Kate Abdo.
Thank you very much, gents. I'm up here at the desk with Sean Porter. Sean, let's bring you in there because Ramos Santamaria, that feels like the kind of fight that's good for boxing.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. No, we had it. That was good for boxing. That was good for Fox. A lot of action. Styles make fights. I think that was a classic case of one guy being aggressive, but when that aggression started to wear off, the other guy who could box more, Santamaria, started to use the whole ring, continued to work his hands the entire fight, pulled out the victory.